joining us. Welcome to Fiskerati Live. I'm Sean from Fiskerati, and tonight I'm joined with my special guest, Jim from OSR Garage. Hi, Jim.
Hey, how's everybody going?
Good, good. So we got a packed show for everyone tonight, and we're going to try to do something different. Jim and I are going to try to get this done tonight. We're going to try to squeeze it all in within an hour. So wish us luck. Wish us luck. We're going to need it.
Yeah.
So everybody, yeah, I messaged in the chat just a minute ago. Where is everybody watching us from tonight? We want to give some shout outs to people. We already have some people messaging us in the chat of where they are.
Yeah.
Let's
Hi,
see
Rosanna.
here. We have Tommaso. He's a good evening, everyone. He's a club member. We have Franklin Sands, a club member. He's from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, I believe. We have Oceana from Chicago, Rosanna from North Carolina. Where else do we have people? We have
Gavin Fari from Chicago also.
Yeah, Zach from Miami, Tiger from Greenwich, Connecticut, Steve from Wilmington, North Carolina. Back in Los Angeles, Tommaso, excellent. I think he was on a journey. He said he was in maybe some airports or something like that we saw on the forum. So he's back. All right. So we're going to talk about a few things tonight. We're going to talk about the Inflation Reduction Act, specifically the new IRS update to the plug-in electric drive vehicle credit. We're going to just touch on that. We're not going to go super deep into that because there's a lot of stuff we want to talk about. In addition to that, we're going to talk about some of our observations that we've seen around pre-ordering Fisker Ocean Extreme, Ultra, and Sport, specifically here in the United States. We're going to take a look at some photos that have been shared by Henrik Fisker and Fisker Inc. Over the past week. And then we're going to do our best, like we try to do every time, answer your questions live. And thanks again for the people who pre-submitted questions. I think we're going to keep asking for people to pre-submit questions just so we have something to talk about if nobody has any questions in the chat. We also have, I guess, something called Super Chats. Is that right, Jim? Is it called Super Chat?
Yeah, Super Chat. That basically just lets us know that you got a question, and we will answer your question first if you use a Super Chat.
That's right. And if you're a club member, a Fiskerati club member, we're going to answer your questions first anyways. So yeah. You're in the club, you get special treatment in the club. So if you aren't a part of the club, go to our YouTube channel and there's a join button. And you can hit the join button and become a club member. And that club membership actually helps fund the Fiskerati site. For those that don't know, we're not serving ads. We're going to try to keep that site ad-free. Last we looked, there was 38 club members. Our goal is 500 by the end of the year. We expect on average about $5 per club member. So you can do the math. It's not going to be that much. What is that? $2,500 a month? Not very much, but that will cover our costs. As this is a hobby for myself, and if we can't hit that 500 number, then we'll have to decide do we serve an ad or two ads on the site, but that's our last resort. So we got plenty of time to try to reach that goal, starting here in August. So, okay, Jim, first things first, let's kick it off tonight with talking about the EV tax credits. And before we do, we're going to make our disclaimer here. Jim and I, we're not tax professionals. We're not tax attorneys. You should speak with your tax advisor in your city and state. So we need to make that disclaimer because some people might be like, well, they said this, and we don't want to be a part of that. So we're going to actually just talk about this briefly, just share some information. We'll include some links in the chat. You can look at it at your own time in more detail. So Jim actually did a EV Weekly show on Sunday. And he ended up, I believe, talking a little bit about what was to take place this week. Wasn't that right, Jim?
Yes. Yeah, a little bit. And I think I also have a video that I went in depth into the tax credit and what is involved in that and what we can expect from it. And that was actually before it had even cleared the Senate. So as far as I know, nothing had changed. So that video should be beneficial for everyone.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so everyone check that out on Jim's channel, youtube.com/OSR Garage. I think it's one of the top ones in the upload, so you can check that out. So let me pull up a website here. You guys may or may not know this, but as of today, the as of today, in order to qualify for the $7,500 EV tax credit, vehicles need and must be made here in North America. So that would be the United States, Canada, or Mexico. The battery materials, the minerals in the battery, they need to follow some specific specification in order to get the full qualification of the vehicle. The U.S. government actually came out with, I want to say today, they came out with two things. They came out with a list of over 30 vehicles here that are made here in the United States that actually will qualify for the EV tax credit, because they are made here. It doesn't say on the site how much they'll qualify for, but it does say that they will qualify. So we're going to throw that up on the screen right now. And maybe I can zoom in. I don't know. Let's see. Last time I tried to do this. Oh, there we go. It didn't work, but there we go. So this is the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. They kind of give you an example of it, or not example, but a brief explanation of what it is. If everybody doesn't know, legislation changed last year, actually not last year, legislation changed this past week, yesterday, that vehicle manufacturers, electrical vehicle manufacturers, they are no longer, capped, if you will, to a 200,000 EV limit. So that cap went away. That was the old legislation. The new legislation is, hey, the vehicles just need to be made here in North America, and you have to follow certain battery requirements. That's like the simplest explanation. I'm sure somebody in the chat can probably give you a more detailed one, or you can head over to fiskerati.com and click on the search box or the search button and type in Inflation Reduction Act, and you're going to find like 10 articles about it that we go in kind of, a lot more depth than we're going to go into right now, including one from an attorney who actually provided us some amazing insight around the EV tax credit and how it would impact companies like Fisker, Rivian, etc. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. Down here, Jim, if we have a look, here's, I want to say last I counted, it was like 36 or 37. Maybe it's gone up since then. But we have a bunch of electric vehicles assembled in North America. According to the government, these are the ones that would qualify. They actually put little notes over here, like the Chevy Bolt before, with the old EV tax legislation. The particular vehicle here would not qualify. They met the sales cap. So they wouldn't qualify. Under the new legislation, the Chevy Bolt EUV will qualify. The Chevy Bolt EV will qualify, along with the Audi Q5, BMW 3 Series plug-in, and the list goes on and on and on. So I'm going to dump that into the chat. If you guys want to have a closer look at that, you can knock it yourself out. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. We do have some Teslas in here, some Rivians, Nissans, the Lucid Air, some 2023 models that are on here. We have got another Bolt EV. So geez, that Bolt, Jim, super popular. It looks like it's already, they just kind of capped out in 2022 or whatever year, and obviously it doesn't qualify in 2023 under the old legislation, but it does now. So good for them. One company you won't find on this list, Fisker. So Fisker's not on here yet. It said that a lot of these companies, or I think almost all these companies, it says like right here. I think it says right here, maybe it was up above. These companies, and when they ended up going through, it says right here actually, when they ended up submitting their National Highway Traffic Safety, administration paperwork or whatever that may be, the data, they know where the vehicle is manufactured. So that's how this list was compiled. It may change, but that's what we have right now. What are your thoughts here, Jim? You got any thoughts on any of these EVs?
Well, I mean, the bulk of these EVs are made by one manufacturer, more or less. So you got like GM, covers GMC, Chevy, Cadillac. So it covers those. Ford covers several. Of course, there was a bunch of Teslas on there.
That's right.
Ford covers Lincoln. So it looks like a big list, but it's really only coming from a few manufacturers.
Makes sense.
The other thing is that what it doesn't tell us is whether they're going to qualify battery-wise.
That's correct. It does not tell us that, but we do know the vehicles, like right here, list the vehicles with final assembly in North America. They'll qualify for some part of the tax credit. Now, let's take a look at this. This is the part where Seek your tax advisor's advice. So in a couple different forums today, there was a lot of debate around the plug-in electrical drive vehicle credit. I guess this is a code IRC 30D. I've never seen this. I read it for the first time today. It was updated yesterday, and it basically just starts off by saying, hey, here's the new final assembly requirements. Here is what the transition rule is for vehicles purchased before August 16th. And that August 16th date was when President Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. And then it goes into vehicles purchased and delivered between August 16th, 2022 and December 31st, 2022, and talks about taking possession of a qualified vehicle then or before January 2023. And then it goes into around the binding contract and what that means. And then, you have a definition of binding act. And the interesting thing about this, and I'm going to throw it in the chat for those that want to go into it. We're going to end up writing an article about this probably later this week, but I'm going to actually reach out to an attorney to actually give us their answer, because they're going to be much more of a subject matter expert than both myself and Jim, unless Jim's been taking night school classes, for attorney of law. But I don't think you have you?
No. I don't have time for that.
I hear you. So the interesting thing about the binding contract, there's a lot of people debating in the forums around the 5% that's listed here. That is one option. There also is the definition of the binding contract, and if there was a binding contract, you didn't necessarily have to put down 5% as long as the company could take some sort of recourse. A lot of this is actually based on your state in particular. So it's going to be enforceable, as you can see in the very first sentence, enforceable under state law. So whatever the state of California decides where I'm at, or the state of Illinois where Jim's at, or this, North Carolina, or, other places, Florida, where people are watching us, Texas, wherever you may be, each state's going to interpret a binding contract a little differently, maybe. And then, you're going to want to speak to and talk to your tax professional just to see, what that interpretation may be. It looks like the IRS here, what does it say? The, future guidance. So they're going to end up providing what looks like possibly some additional guidance in probably the months and the weeks to come. The company also listed, or not the company, the IRS ended up listing the Pre-Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, which is like, how did it all work before the new legislation? So have a read through this. Join one of your, join your favorite forum, like Fisker forums. Go there if you're a club member, sign up. And we will continue to talk about it there, but I'm going to get a professional to write us something up that is a definitive answer that we can all then look at, be rest assured. And the good news too, if you're a Fisker reservation holder, or a Fisker pre-orderer, or somebody that's going to be purchasing a Fisker Ocean in 2022 or 2023, that company's on it. They were the first to act and implement a plan. So we will also look to them for guidance. If they say, hey, we need to put down more of a deposit, we'll put down more of a deposit. If they say, hey, you're fine, we're going to take their word for it that we're fine. But they did say in all their communications, they're not providing us tax guidance. So we do have to, once again, seek our own tax, advice from our own tax professionals. So that's all I have on that. Jim, do you have any comments on that, or should we move on to the next thing?
No, I saw that 5% thing also, but it also seemed like the previous, I think it's like the previous paragraph had talked about having just an agreement with the company. So it wasn't necessarily has to be 5%, but they said for tax purposes or something like that, 5%, it may be the normal, but it sounded like it didn't have to be 5%. The other thing is that they're asking about the $7,500 tax credit, whether it be point of sale or not. It will not be point of sale, because we're getting the old $7,500 tax credit. we're using that. We're not using the new one, so it won't be point of sale.
Correct.
So that was somebody asked that in the comments. I just saw that and I was like, yeah, I better point that out.
That's right. So yeah, the people who did that binding offer were expecting to take advantage of that $7,500 tax credit that was pre-Inflation Reduction Act. So that's something to note. So we're trying to play by the new rules, but take advantage of the old system, the old federal EV tax credit system. So that's we'll put a pin in that one, and let's go ahead and do this, Jim. A lot of times when we're doing this, only some people end up subscribing to our channel and pressing the like button. As you see right there, going across the bottom of the screen, it says press the like button now. And if everybody could, on the count of 3, please press the like button, because what that does is it ends up then sharing this video to other people who also like Fisker and follow electrical vehicles. So if you could, on the count of 3, please go ahead and press the like button. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Okay, and while you're pressing the like button, hit the subscribe button for both Jim and myself. That would be much appreciated as well. As you see that scrolling by on the ticker on the bottom there as well. So yeah, we have got a few messages today scrolling along the bottom of the stream.
Getting fancy.
Getting fancy. There we go. So, okay, thank you, everybody. So now we're going to talk about and provide an update on the Fisker Ocean. What's been happening with the Fisker Ocean? And most of you probably are aware what's happening, but there's some people that are new that are joining us. So for those new people, subscribe to our channel. You'll get the latest updates. And thanks for joining tonight, because we're going to talk about this right here. So Henrik posted this the other day. I believe it was yesterday, actually. And it basically ended up saying, countdown, Fisker Ocean Extreme, and then he did the same thing across other social media channels. You have the ticker going down. It's basically like, hey, you don't have much more time to pre-order the Fisker Ocean Extreme here in the United States. If you recall, Fisker said that they would stop pre-orders, or they said that they could, and based on all these messages that we see here, they're going to stop it and probably have stopped it. Now, I'm not going to pay another $250 of reservation to confirm that the Extreme can no longer be pre-ordered. I'm going to have to take these social media posts here as the concrete definitive word, seeing as it's coming from Henrik Fisker. So you can no longer, according to Fisker here, the countdowns happened. You're not going to be able to purchase the Extreme anymore. We know that the Ultra and the Sport sold out last week. That means for here in the United States, as of right now, you can no longer pre-order the Fisker Ocean until whenever they open it up again here in the United States. We don't know what that date's going to be, but I believe we read in the FAQ last week that Fisker was going to open up Ocean Extreme pre-ordering for everywhere outside of the United States. I think that's what we read, right, Jim?
Yeah, I believe. I think originally it was supposed to be for everyone, but then when we had this happen, the ones for the U.S. just pretty much got locked up, so they don't have to. Right. So now it's just a European release.
That is what our understanding is as well. So now let's take a look at this. Now, say you were one of the people that did pre-order a Fisker Ocean over the past week. We pre-ordered our Ocean 1 back sometime in July. I don't remember the date. Maybe I don't know what date it was. It was a couple days after 4th of July. Might have been July 5th. Could have been July 6th. I don't know. Somewhere in July. It all blurs together. But we pre-ordered our Ocean 1. We then ended up, we all fretted and stressed out, all of us who follow Fisker in the forums on, StockTwits, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, wherever you may love to do your social media thing. We're like, why is it taking the company so long? What are they going to do? Are they going to sell out before the earnings call? And lo and behold, they sold out right before the earnings call that was held at the beginning of August. So we were excited about that. This EV tax credit thing came up. A lot of people pre-ordered last week. Some people may have pre-ordered the Fisker Ocean Extreme as late as yesterday, maybe. So there's some new people. We got this email though from Fisker. We pre-ordered the Ocean 1 in July. we pre-ordered and made our reservation. We started with the reservation on Sunday of last week, right before 2 EV Weekly shows ago, Jim, right? When we were on that Sunday night. And we pre-ordered the Ocean Sport. We reserved and then pre-ordered like minutes after the Ocean Sport. We got this email. This email basically states, hey, we're updating your reservation to firm order status. So we did a post about this yesterday. They basically are saying, hey, you got no further action that you have to do on your own. No further actions required from you at this time. If you are browsing the reservations in your account, you may notice the order button, that blue button, it's been removed. So we can confirm that it's been removed. You no longer see that blue order button. We don't see a confirmed status. They're working on that. That's what they're telling us. They're working on it. So we just have to sit tight, let the programmers, engineers, do their thing over at Fisker. And I'm sure at some point we'll see, just like we do the Ocean One, a confirmed status, make people feel warm and fuzzy doing that. So that's what we have there, Jim. Any thoughts on that?
No, there were a lot of thoughts on Twitter about it, though.
Oh, the other was. We had a lot of angry and upset people that didn't get to pre-order a Fisker Ocean Extreme Ultra or Sport. And, I've shared my thoughts on it. I feel sympathetic for the people that weren't able to do it. But, you got to act fast. And we gave countless, if you follow the Fiskerati site, I hope you ended up getting at least one notice, if not 5 notices. We ended up writing a lot about it on Sunday morning. I think I published the article 15 minutes after they opened them up. I was writing it as they opened them up. But yeah, 15 minutes, I think it was 9:15 Pacific time. And then we went on another one that night. And then I think we did one on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And we kind of did them all week. So that was kind of the big news last week. And then there was other big news last week too. I'm not going to share any photos of it, but we did see like loads of photos and videos over from Fisker and the Fisker team over in Magna, at Magna in Graz, Austria. So did you get a chance to see any of that footage and things over there?
Yeah, I did see a few pictures popping up on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. So I have seen some of the pictures. There's a couple of the colors that they were showing. I know we looked at the great white, and then another one that they were saying was Horizon Gray. And I kind of questioned it because it was so blue. And they came back and actually pulled up the original photo, and it was a photo from Fisker Inc. that had Horizon Gray written at the bottom of the picture. So I was like, okay, well, glad I didn't get that because I would not have liked that color.
Yeah, I didn't choose that one. I know a lot of people did choose that one. I didn't choose that one. I went with the white, and if it's not metallic, it's a gloss, and it looked pretty beautiful. So I'm going to throw this up here. You can have a check here. Here are some of the shots. I wasn't going to pull these up, but hey, why not, since we're talking about it? In fact, there was a question that was pre-submitted. Let me find that pre-submitted question. It actually talked about paint colors, and we had a guest post written this weekend. This is actually the guest post, and talked about paint colors that we saw at Magna. So the question was, there's actually 2 questions from this person, but I'm going to read the second one first. Any news on actual photos of unseen ocean colors? And he said, I'd like to see like Horizon Gray. So, or maybe you wanted to see other photos other than Horizon Gray, but there's Horizon Gray. That's the one that you probably saw. There was, I think, another shot or angle of it as well. We saw seagrass. That looked, or what we believe is seagrass. Fisker hasn't confirmed that, but if you look at the color chart, that looks like seagrass to us. Great white, a launch color that comes in gloss. That one looks so like a matte finish. This was the one in the investor deck that we went through last Wednesday. And then, we're thinking this one might be black pearl. The person that wrote the article wasn't sure. Oh, and we got a typo here. We're going to have to fix that. Black pearl. So who knows what this color is? It could also be maybe that seagrass in a different angle, different lighting. Could be Horizon Gray. Hard to tell. If you all have a look at the color chart, maybe you'll think also it's black pearl. Who knows? But that's what we're thinking. it is. And then silver lining, we always see loads of these photos. This is kind of where the original prototypes are painted in silver lining, big Sur blue, beautiful color. I'm kind of hesitant about the great white. I think that one is beautiful, but I'd have to convince my wife.
That silver is what we're looking at right now, unless we choose one of the new colors when they actually bring them out. But
yeah,
right now we're planning on silver.
Yeah. So cool. So yeah, that's the photos there. Now I'm going to actually go back to the Ocean One. So we got some other news. We were waiting for news around, and I wouldn't say it's so much news, but we were waiting for confirmation from the company saying, "Hey, when can I get on the wait list? I wanted the Ocean One." And maybe I didn't get the Extreme, which is the closest thing to the Ocean One. What about the wait list? We talked about this wait list. Fisker said that they were going to open up the wait list when they mentioned that the Fisker order book for the Fisker Ocean One order book was closed. They said, "Hey, we're going to have a wait list for people," and that added, more speculation. They're having a wait list. Did they sell out? How are they going to, how many remain? They sell out 4,950. How many are left? We don't know, but they opened up the wait list through email. What day was that? Was that yesterday? I think it might've been yesterday. Definitely earlier this week. I want to say it was yesterday. I can't remember off the top of my head. But they sent around this to the people who were interested, who had the ability to potentially pre-order an Ocean One. So if you already used your reservation for a Sport or an Ultra or an Extreme, well, you probably wouldn't have gotten this email. If you've already pre-ordered the Ocean One, you wouldn't have gotten this email. So this we took from the Fiskerati forums to show you guys tonight. It basically says, "Hey, Fisker Ocean One sold out. Join the waitlist within the next 48 hours." So this is another one of those, you better act quick. If you would like to be placed on the waitlist to order a launch edition Fisker Ocean One, please respond here. Click the link. We haven't seen what the link is, but click the link on our website within 48 hours. Please note the waitlist is not available through the Fisker app. We learned that with pre-ordering the Ocean, doing the pre-order, the non-binding or the binding pre-order, the non-refundable deposit, the binding pre-order. We had to do that on the mobile website or using our desktop computer. We couldn't do it in the app. Same thing applies here. Use the website. If we receive a Fisker Ocean One order cancellation, we will offer the next waitlisted customer the opportunity to place a deposit on a limited edition Fisker Ocean One. So basically that's, and if you don't do anything, you're fine. You stay in your original spot in the Fisker Ocean reservation queue. So that's basically what we learned there with the waitlist. That's the waitlist email. If you get that, great. And I would suggest, I'm actually going to double check for the people who get stuff to their spam folder. A lot of people get stuff to their spam folder. So you can prevent that from happening, actually, if you end up adding an email address, a specific email address to your contacts. So if you put, I believe most of the emails that come to me, and you can check, people can verify this in the chat, but most of the emails come from noreply@marketing.fiskerinc.com. Add that to your contact list, your address book, and your email. That will prevent emails from going to spam. So if you didn't know that, you can do that, and you shouldn't miss an email unless you don't check your email on a regular basis. So there's your pro tip for the day. We're giving tips now. There's a tip, Jim.
I didn't know that. So
there we go. So there's that. Any thoughts around this Ocean One before we move on?
No, I didn't know that they were putting out a waiting list, because I didn't get that. Of course, I had went ahead and committed to getting the Ultra. I had talked about getting the Extreme, and it just came down to some of the things that are on the Extreme is just cool to have, but they weren't a necessity. So it wasn't like, I don't have to have the revolve screen, even though we might be able to upgrade to that. I don't know yet. But we don't need the solar thing. It really is not that beneficial. Even anywhere else, you're maybe getting a couple miles a day at the most, so it really wasn't that beneficial. It's cool, but it wasn't beneficial to anything. So we just kind of looked at going ahead and getting the Ultra, and then I will probably add some like driver assistance package on there, which I'm sure will be available, and then maybe a few little odds and end things that we might choose to add to the car to bring it up to a little closer to the Extreme. But the little things were just not that important, so we decided to go with a lower cost. Plus, I got should be able to order my Ford Lightning here in September, which was kind of a little disappointing because we found out that the Pro model, which is what I'm going to order, it may not be delivered until next fall.
Oh, that's a long time.
But that's kind of what some people were reserving, and it was showing at the bottom. But my thing is, I just read an article like from 5 days ago that Forbes has talked about trying to push to that 150,000 build for next year. And if that's the case, I can't imagine them waiting until fall to produce the Pros. So that would make much sense to me. So I think if they are going to push that way, I'll probably get it sooner. And I'll let everybody else drop their reservations and everything, and I'll get mine built faster. And we kind of had that same thing when I read that stuff on Twitter about the Fisker Ocean, and people were all mad because, well, I didn't get it. They're not following the reservation list, and I didn't get an email, and I didn't get this, and I didn't get a chance to do it, and I was an early reservation holder, and I'm like, and they were mad at Fisker, and I'm like, well, don't get mad at Fisker because you waited too long to lock in. I said, everybody got the same email. Everyone got the same email. Now, the email that that you showed earlier said it will commence, or maybe we didn't show it, but it said it would commence.
The firm order?
Huh?
Which one? The email about pre-ordering?
Yes. Locking in your order.
I didn't show that one. Yeah, I didn't show that one. We showed that one last week or the week before.
So, but they were talking about, I read that, and I thought they were going to send out another email at noon or whatever it was, whenever it started, and I never saw an email, so I just went to the website, and when I got to the website, it was just like, oh yeah, here it is right here, and I just went ahead and locked it in. And I think maybe that may have been part of the problem, but one guy did make a point, and he said the email that came across, if you actually look at the top of it, it doesn't say anything about ordering. It just says about the tax incentive and blah, 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 blah. And it really doesn't pinpoint what the email is, and people probably just overlooked it. They thought it's just another email that they're sending out, and they overlooked it. So it just goes to show you, don't overlook any emails that may be something that may be important to you, even if it isn't.
That's right.
Ends up being nothing.
That's right.
Open it up and take a look, because a lot of people missed out, and I'm here at a 45,000 reservation thing, whatever, and I'm going to get mine next year. I'm locked in.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Because I didn't skip the email. I opened it.
Yeah. Well, congrats to you. Congrats to everybody else that also got their Fisker Ocean pre-order in up until yesterday for the Extreme. So congrats to everybody there who's gonna continue hopefully to follow us along on this fun journey that we're having. So before we go to the next topic, if you haven't downloaded the Fiskerati app on the Apple App Store and Google Play, take a minute to do that. We have an app. You get articles pushed to your phone. If you have the notifications on, you will get a notification that says, hey, there's a new article. So hopefully people like that. If you like the Fiskerati app, I don't ever get too many people giving feedback on it in the App Store reviews. Other than Android, a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot of people, there's some good ones in there, some nice ones, and then there's some, hey, this is an AI, bot generating the articles, and that's far from the truth. But whatever. So if you got it on your phone, let us know if you like it. Let us know what we can do to improve it. That feedback's great. We're going to keep investing in it, trying to make it better. So that's exciting. One thing that we upgraded, which I mentioned. So Jim, you may or may not know, we did a stream last night with Tesla Tips by Mountain Ranger, and we talked about EV charging. We talked about how to get ready for your Fisker Ocean, and that was around like getting a charger installed at your house, figuring out your charging plan. On that call, I started talking about our streaming plan. So we upgraded to we're actually now streaming in 1080p. We're on the Pro plan now,
Wow.
and that's a pretty penny. So that's what's coming from the people who are the club members. They're helping, offer
Awesome.
everyone a better customer experience. That's what we're doing, right? We're trying to create
That's
a better
great.
customer experience. So
That's
kudos
great.
to everybody. Yeah, that's a club member. Kudos to you. So thank you. And we're going to keep doing fun things like that. Another fun thing that we did for the tech geeks out there, we actually, we end up using a service called Cloudflare. They manage our DNS, our domain name server. So they are, all the traffic routes through them that comes to the Fiskerati site, apps, forums, whatever it may be. And we turned on a really cool functionality. We signed up for their Pro plan this past week, thanks to our club members. And what we're doing there is every image now is being served through the Cloudflare CDN on the Fiskerati site. So you should see, if you're on a mobile device now, whether it's the app or the website, the mobile website, or even the desktop website, pages should be loading like bam, bam, bam. They should be going super quick now. So just we're putting your funds, your proceeds from the club to good use, just so you know, and we're going to keep doing that. And we'll keep sharing updates on what we're doing. Because I think that's part of the fun, right? So I don't see anybody here other than we had a few people who were club members. Shout out to Tommaso in LA. And who else do we have on? Because we got to give shout outs to the people that are cool. We have Franklin on still, Franklin Sands from Fort Lauderdale. And that's pretty much all I see from the club. So thanks, you two, for being a part of this. What else? Okay, let's go on the next topic. Our next topic, Jim, is actually, there's a fun one, but first we're going to do this one. This one might not be as fun, so we'll do the not as fun one first.
I got a quick question
go for
over
it.
here.
Yeah, fire away.
So JKEV, he said he's like, he's not sure if we had covered the new tax. He just got on here. But he was asking about these binding contracts and whether they will, if he thinks they will actually work. We honestly don't know for sure. We are all hoping and praying that they work, but we really don't know for sure. And we're hoping, like Sean said, he's going to talk to a lawyer and get some wording and get that lined out, and hopefully maybe he will be able to tell us for sure. But from the way it's written, it does look like as long as you had a binding contract, which is basically a non-refundable deposit on a vehicle, then that should be sufficient enough.
Yeah, and the key word there is should, right? Possibly get it, should get it. All these, wishy-washy words, but that's kind of where we are. The IRS did issue some guidance or their interpretation. We're probably going to get more of that to come. But we're going to try to get an attorney, and maybe we won't be successful, but we're going to try to get an attorney to review it, give us a once-over, give us their feedback as it relates to Fisker, and we'll publish that article. Maybe that'll be a guest article, or who knows, but that will hopefully come later this week, if not sometime next week. And then in addition to that, let's see here. In addition to that, I think I lost that train of thought. We're just going to go into the next thing, Jim. We're going into the next thing. Here's the next thing. So you guys may have saw this one. This one was posted today. So Fisker posted this one on Instagram and where else? LinkedIn. Oh, there we are. We're on LinkedIn. So he basically gives us. We showed the Fisker Ocean and Seagrass last week. There's all those bolt holes down there. I think there was 26 bolt holes that need to be screwed in, and it can be done in 2 minutes by a robot. So that's a high voltage battery. What it looks like underneath. I'd be interested to know if there's going to be some sort of if that is the cover, that silver metal, or if there will actually be something that goes over the bolts, like a nice plastic shield or something like that. I don't know, but if anyone has looked underneath the bottom of a Fisker Ocean at one of those pop-up locations, what did you see? That's something that I'd be curious to know, if there's going to be like a protective shield. So when we see the Fisker Ocean next month, that's right, next month, we're going to go see the Fisker Ocean. Do you know where it's going to be, Jim?
San Diego?
Ooh, it's going to be in San Diego. Yes. We're going to Fully Charged. Fully Charged is a really popular show on the internet and on YouTube in particular, on the same place we're streaming right now. And they confirmed today that the Fisker Ocean will be at Fully Charged, and that's in our backyard here, in the backyard of where we're at. So we're for sure going. We already have our press pass to that event, so you can be rest assured we're going to get loads of photos, loads of videos. Maybe we'll get some interviews with people at the Fisker booth. Or Fisker stand. I think they call it a stand, not a booth, but it's a place where the car is going to be. It's going to be at the San Diego Convention Center next month. I'm going to write an article about this tomorrow. I actually confirmed today with Fisker themselves. They confirmed this. Fisker hasn't actually released any information. More details to come is what they tell me. And they said that they will be here. They can confirm that they will be at Fully Charged in San Diego. It's actually powered by, or sponsored by probably, Electrify America, as you see right there. The event, both of those two, Fully Charged and Electrify America, both have lightning bolts in their logo. I noticed that today when I saw this little image. But Electrify America, as you all know, that's one of the charging partners of Fisker. So there's some sort of a connection there as well. So Fisker Ocean is going to be there. We're going to be there. You're going to get probably a bunch of videos, photos, maybe a live stream. Who knows what's going to happen, but we're going to be there. Maybe we'll even join a panel if they'll let us. Maybe we can actually be a part on a panel and share our customer experience, our thoughts on EVs and what we've learned about Fisker, our observations. So more to come. Look for a post about this tomorrow. So whoever's watching this, we're writing about this tomorrow. This is going to be the very first thing I publish tomorrow. It hasn't been written, but you guys got the first look. So that's what we're talking about tomorrow. Now, more stuff, Jim. And Jim was going to show up. He was going to go, by the way, to Fully Charged, but he can't get enough time off work. So I'm going to have to do it for our show here, our weekly Wednesday show.
Yeah, I did get my press passes. I mean, I can go, but
you got to get here.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Whole nother story. Yep,
Yeah.
I hear you about that one. A lot closer for me than you.
Yeah.
This time around at least.
This time, but next year we're at it. We'll be there.
That's right. So, okay, we got one more thing to show you. We got a few more things, but here's the next thing. So, if you're on StockTwits, you woke up to this morning. You may have saw this. We didn't see it in the afternoon. We're so busy doing other stuff, family stuff, spending time with the family, writing articles, spending time with family. That's what we do throughout most of the day. And the articles are a fun thing, a hobby thing. So family comes first, right, Jim? Family first.
Right. That's right.
So
family first.
Yeah, my daughter tonight said, "Man, I don't like your shows. You take too long." So I'm like, "Okay, we're going to do it under an hour tonight." So that's what we're aiming for, an hour tonight. Family first. So we got this thing. You guys probably read it before I did it. But Hendrik Fisker posted this at 6:24 a.m. Pacific time this morning. It says, "I know it's annoying for the shorties, but we are on target with the November 17th SOP, start of production. Got a strong cash position, can't read tonight, and the reservations keep coming in every day from North America and the European Union. Now, long waiting list for Ocean One." And then he leaves a photo there of them last week at the Magna plant in Graz, Austria. So I found this actually interesting. The stock market at one point today was down, I would say, a fair amount. The NASDAQ, I want to say, was down 1.5% at one period of time. Fisker shares yesterday got battered, and they ended up testing a support level of $8.85 a share. I think it might have dipped slightly below that yesterday, and we wrote about that on Saturday or Sunday, sometime this past weekend, through our guest blogger, who's also on StockTwits. He holds an extremely large position, largest position that I'm aware of, position meaning shares in the company. I think he's got over $6 million. Last he showed everyone $6 million. He's the real deal. and he basically gives us the stock chart analysis each week, and surprisingly, he's almost always right. It's surprise. He knows charting extremely well. So follow those on Sundays or whatever day I publish those. I usually write the intro. He writes the stock chart analysis. And then this past week on Sunday, I think it was Sunday, when I wrote that, I ended up talking about the correction that Fisker got. Fisker got a correction to the Morgan Stanley research report that was created by Adam Jonas and his team. We talked about that, I think, maybe last Wednesday, quite possibly. I certainly talked about it in the Fisker, This Week in Fisker. But anyhow, he got a correction. We linked to that in the article that we wrote. We wrote about this today, this afternoon. Fisker has a 35% short interest. So if you're not familiar what a short interest is, go watch the movie The Big Short. That's always a fun one to watch. The basically simple explanation is you can buy stock and be long the shares, right? You can say, hey, I want the stock to go up in value, and you just own the stock outright. If you're short shares, you're betting against the company and you want the stock to go down. So there's 35% of the outstanding float of the shares are sold short. So if the people who have sold the stock short want to close out their position, they have to buy the stock back. And according to Fintel, when I pulled the data earlier today, there was I think I didn't even mention the article, I forgot to. It's a 5.5 day. It's going to take them 5.5 days. Whoever these short sellers are, these shorties is what Fisker called them, Henrik Fisker. It's going to take them 5.5 days to close out their short position. So if you've seen other stocks that have short squeezes, they squeeze, meaning they go up rapidly in price because there's not enough shares being traded for the short sellers to buy the stock back. So they have to, the price keeps going up and up and up, and they keep trying to buy back. And as they buy back, typically the share price moves up as other people keep buying the stock. So we don't know, when these people are going to cover their short position, but Fisker today gave, ample ammo for them, for us, the people who are long the shares. He gave them reason, these short sellers, these shorties, to actually close their position out. So that's, kind of neat. Last week he stuck up for shareholders and said, hey, Morgan Stanley, fix your research report. Today he comes out and says, hey, short sellers, get your act together. We're delivering this thing on November 17th, whether you like it or not. So it'll be interesting. People always ask us, hey, talk about the stock. So we're talking about the stock. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens to the stock, as we move into the start of production and then beyond, when we actually see vehicles on the ground, on the, driving around our neighborhoods. That'll be pretty exciting. So that's what we got there. Any thoughts on this, Jim? Anything about the stock, about short sellers, about Henrik Fisker, calling them out today, saying, hey, I got a message for you. It's, everything's hunky dory over here.
I like the fact that he calls them out on it. But all that stuff that you were just talking about, I don't understand it. All I know is that when it goes up, it's good, and if it goes down, it's bad. That's all I know.
There you go. Hey, that's all you need to know, right? That's all you need to know.
Keep buying it.
That's how the stock market works, right? That's how it is. And then full disclosure, I own stock in the company as well. So that's and when I do purchase stock, or I've never sold stock in Fisker since I started this particular site. But if I do sell stock, I will make 100% sure to let everybody know on StockTwits if you follow the Fiskerati account. So I put my purchases there and I put my sales there. I don't tell you how many shares I own, but Jim has seen, or actually heard. I haven't shown Jim, but I told Jim how many shares I own. And I've doubled my position since then. But I put my buys and sells there. You can look. I haven't done any sales, but I've done a buy since starting this hobby of a site called Fiskerati. So yeah, cool. We'll move on. We got one more thing to show you before we get to your questions. We got this photo. Now, this photo is it looks like a trunk, and we ended up getting this on LinkedIn only. At least that's the only site I saw it on.
Yeah.
If this was from Fisker, and it's basically him pointing to extra plugs and saying, "Hey, you got some extra plugs here in the trunk." And if you look real close, maybe I can zoom in. Those particular plugs, I actually can't zoom in. Oh, there we go. Those plugs are actually European plugs, so that obviously wouldn't work. But here in the U.S., he said, somebody posted in the comments, will the U.S. vehicle have U.S. plugs? And yes, they will have U.S. plugs for the people that are here in the United States, right? Hey, who would have thought?
Yeah.
But hey, you got to ask the question, right? You don't know unless you ask.
I don't know. Sometimes people ask questions, and it's that whole thing of having to put on a cup of coffee that it's hot when you buy it from McDonald's. It's like, really? I mean, if you,
It's true.
well,
Well, that's to just cover them from a lawsuit,
what?
I think. That's to prevent them in case somebody scolds themselves, which I'm sure has happened when they hand it over the drive-through window. But if you look at this photo real quick, there's the outlet for plugging in a device. So you can use this for camping, to hook up a radio, whatever you might want to hook up when going camping. So we did a video on camping. We did an article on camping. This would be a great outlet in the back of your vehicle to plug stuff in for your camping, excursion. And then it looks like there's two little holes there as well. He said there's plugs. These are plugs. So maybe those holes, those extra, outlets that are, covered up with some sort of a cap. Maybe that's for like a cigarette lighter type, the old school cigarette lighters that you used to have, where you can plug in like a compressor for an air pump, or, to blow up balls for your children, or bike tires, or whatever you use one of those for. Your own tire, maybe, if that works. I think it does, but it takes forever. So there's plugs. So that was kind of what we saw this week. There was a bunch of other photos that we saw that I'm not going to pull up. They just had to talk about, hey, we're running out of time to pre-order the Fisker Ocean Extreme, and there are a bunch of photos we've already seen. So I didn't want to share those ones. You have any other thoughts? I think you had a photo, Jim, that you wanted to share that you saw. Do you want to message that to me in the private chat, or do you want to share your screen? Your call.
Of the ocean?
No. Of that cool golf cart that you talked about.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's look at the cool golf cart. So Jim's going to share a photo of a cool golf cart, and we'll have a quick look at that, and then we'll go ahead and take your questions live. So start posting your questions. We'll go also through the top of the chat and look for the questions that we missed, but start posting your questions. We got a few that were pre-submitted, and we'll try to get to all of them here in short order. Jim's going to go ahead and share either a link. Let's see here. What do we got? Hey, there it is. Boom. There's Jim's screen right there. And you're going to have to zoom in. But hey, there's it looks like a golf cart covered up with a truck body. So something we've never seen before. And Jim thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. We're talking about electric vehicles, and why not share a truck of a golf cart with a truck body on top of it? So there you go, everybody. That's that is our bonus for you for the day. You definitely haven't seen that photo.
Yeah.
So
that was somebody I work with. She had told me that she ordered it a couple months ago. All I know, that came from China. It got shipped in, and she bought it, and then she had to go up to the police station, and they had to measure the length of the wheels to make sure it fits inside the golf cart standard, and then she had to go up to the grain elevator and weigh it to make sure that the weight was in the tolerance, and then they gave her a little sticker for it. Otherwise, she would have had to go to the DMV and actually get like a license plate for it.
Interesting.
So she lives like in town where we work. So she just drives that back and forth. I think she said the top speed is about 20 miles an hour. And
oh wow.
And the battery, I think it is like 30 miles she can drive on the full battery.
Yeah.
But it's heated, air conditioned, everything. Wipers. It's got a little bitty tiny infotainment screen, probably about 4 inches big. She can do her music and stuff on. It's pretty interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, it's. I saw some channel the other day where somebody was actually a YouTube channel where somebody was taking regular cars and converting them to electric vehicles, and I thought that's actually pretty cool. The coolest car thing that I've done was back when I was in high school. I had a CRS. It was like a 1990. What was it? I don't know what it was. 90 CRX, and I ended up putting an Acura Integra GSR motor into it, and raced that up in Pomona, LA, the Los Angeles County area, somewhere up there, high desert, and did that for a good big part of my high school time, and that was kind of my fun car, Fast and the Furious experience. But now I've kind of passed that; those days are over, and now we're on to electric vehicles. So happy to share photos of that and videos from back in the day another time. But this is all about Fisker and what's going on here. Today, specifically, we've talked about the latest on the Inflation Reduction Act and that IRS guidance, the Fisker Ocean, the update there, and some photos. Now we're going to take your questions. Let's go ahead and see if we have any questions. I'm going to start off, if you want to look at the stream, Jim, I'm going to start off with the pre-submitted ones. We already did one pre-submitted one. Somebody said, are there any other photos that we haven't seen in different colors? So we shared all the photos we have, all the colors that we've seen. That's kind of where we are there. The next question had to do with any news on the Ocean battery details. We don't have too many new details. We talked about this last night as well. Matt ended up saying, hey, we don't have enough information. When we get more information, we'll know how quick a battery will charge, how long we should charge the battery, what percentage we should charge the battery to. So we don't have those details yet. When we get those details, we'll be happy to publish an article, or you can watch the show here and learn about it. Also, too, we know that Fisker is getting their batteries from Cattle, a Chinese company. And we don't know where the minerals come from the battery. At least I haven't been able to find out where the minerals come from. So if the Fisker Ocean at some point is manufactured here in North America, Fisker will have to work with their supplier, that being Cattle, to source the batteries in one of the locales that allows the Fisker Ocean to keep its eligibility for the highest rebate, the federal tax rebate, per the new, Inflation Reduction Act of Inflation Reduction Inflation Reduction Act. There we go. I butchered that one of 2022. Did you like that? I did the when I messed up. That was the first time I've ever done that on the video. Yeah. So there we go. There you go. There's the live for you, right? The live stream. Can't cut that bad boy out. So there was one question. The other pre-submitted question we have: any updates, if any, for your neighbors north of the 49th parallel? That would be Canada, for those that don't know, would be greatly appreciated. So the only update we have around the Fisker Ocean for them is the same we have for every other country. Last week we talked about, you can check the FAQ on the Fisker Inc. site, scroll to the bottom, hit FAQ, click on order or tap on order if you're on your mobile phone, and you can read about all the latest from ordering the Fisker Ocean if you're not in the United States. I believe, if I remember correctly, Fisker said that they're going to open up pre-ordering for non-U.S. countries on November 18th, the day after start of production. So there will be, a lot of hoopla, a lot of excitement leading up to November 17th, just like there was the launch of the pre-ordering for the Fisker Ocean 1. In fact, Jim and I were on here on a Wednesday, the couple of days before, and we did a celebration. Thank you for those that actually joined us. That was actually quite fun. So we had fun. That's kind of where I think where we started kicking this off, and we've been doing it since. And then we ended up, So where I was going with this is check out the Fisker site. Look at the FAQ about ordering if you're in Canada, if you're in another country. It lists all that information there. You get it from the horse's mouth. The horse's mouth would be Fisker. Check their website. Check their FAQ. That's where we get a lot of stuff. In fact, when they launched the Fisker Ocean 1 pre-ordering, we were the first one to check the FAQ. Nobody checks the FAQ. Who'd want to read an FAQ? That's boring, right? Well, we read the FAQ. So we read the FAQ and we published all the stuff, and everyone was like, where'd you get the information? Well, if you read the FAQ, you would get the information. So, right. There you go. But then also, too, we get our information from other places as well. But that information came from the Fisker site. In addition to that, we have one more question. Boom, we answered that. Okay, so I did all the pre-submitted ones. I'm going to check one other place real quick. The Fiskerati forum I posted earlier. I got to check that one real quick and see if there's any, and then we can take the live ones if that's cool with you. Boom. Let's see. There
You
might
know,
be some
you were
here.
talking
Okay.
about people wondering where you get your information, and so my dad, he's in his 70s, and he likes cars and stuff, and I showed him where my channel was, and he watched a couple videos, and first thing he says, he's like, "Where do you get all that information from?" I'm like, "From the internet, Dad."
Yeah, a lot of it's from the internet.
It's like it's on the internet, Dad. And every time I send him a video, he's like, "It's just amazing how you get all that information. Do you call the company and talk to them?" I'm like, "No, just look up
Yeah.
online."
Now,
It's funny. It's
most of our
entertaining
stuff.
though.
Yeah, I agree. Your dad's spot on for asking the question. Now we get a lot of our information from the internet. We get a lot of it from the internet, specifically the Fisker app, but we also get some of the information from forums, from people who are much more knowledgeable about different parts and things like that of the Fisker Ocean. But then we also get information from the company themselves. The company provides us information through press releases, through just us contacting them, and that's how we get our information. And we publish whatever the latest information is at the time. At some point we'll have to go back and update a lot of articles because the information will change, and we're totally happy doing that. But that's kind of where we are now. We try to always talk about the latest and the greatest, and an article that we published 6 months ago is probably outdated now. So we're going to have to go back and update them when we get the latest and greatest information. And I do that from time to time. I go back and republish articles. It's the same link, but the content gets tweaked only if there's new information, because I don't have the time to go back and rewrite the article from scratch. Case in point, a good example of this: analyst upgrades, analyst downgrades, analyst price targets. If you go to the Fisker site and you type in the latest analyst upgrade, latest analysts. Just type in analyst, I think, in the search box, and you'll end up getting our article with the latest analysts, upgrades, downgrades, whatever, rating. There we go. Latest analyst ratings. Couldn't think of it. But that will actually, I keep kind of a snapshot. I move that down, put the new ratings, upgrade, downgrade. Is it a buy? Is it a sell? Is it a neutral? Is it an overweight, underweight, etc.? What's the 12-month price target? I keep all that stuff there. I just kind of shift it down on that specific article. So that's kind of how we do it. We try to keep things as current as possible. So I do have some questions here, Jim, in the Fiskerati forums,
Okay.
but I'm going through them. It looks like they have to do with the tax credit, though, and we've already talked about the tax credit. So I don't think we're going to be having to answer these. So what do you got in the live chat? I'm going to head over there now to the live chat.
Okay. So we got S Ling asked, are they offering free connectivity, or do we have to pay for it? Especially for the Ocean One owners. I'm guessing he's talking about. I would guess he's talking about charging, but maybe he's talking about like the internet, the Wi-Fi.
So that would be like a perk, right? So like we haven't heard about any perks that Fisker may offer us. In the Fiskerati forum, there's people talking about perks. They like perks for being, founding members, people being, there since day one of their, Fisker Ocean One pre-order, helping the company with their $5,000 non-refundable deposit. Before the IRS tax, credit changes, people were doing this before that. That non-binding order. So Fisker already had a playbook. That was kind of interesting. So answer your question, we don't know if there's going to be perks. We don't know if Fisker is going to offer Ocean One customers, Ocean One owners, future owners, free wireless connectivity, 4G, 5G, whatever it may be. That rhymed, didn't it? 4G, 5G, whatever it may be. That was kind of fun. The other thing around charging. So there's also, this wasn't your question, but there's some talk in the forums, and we actually mentioned it in some post the other week about charging and miles. So we know that Allego, the company that's in Europe, they've got 28,000 charge points if you're a European customer, and you're going to get 1 year of free charging in the European Union, in the EU. You're going to get free charging as a European customer. In the US, the only thing that we've seen, and we need Fisker to confirm or update, provide more information, a press release, and I'm going to get the date wrong, but I want to say it's like December of 2019 or January 2020, somewhere a long time ago, over almost 2.5 years ago. They ended up, I want to say it's when they went to CES. they ended up doing some announcement with Electrify America, and they said that Fisker was going to, don't quote me on the exact word, is either purchase or buy miles for customers, presumably through Electrify America. So you would end up getting some sort of mileage. We don't know what that is. We don't know if Fisker is going to continue to do that. But as soon as we find out, as soon as they issue a press release, you can be certain we're going to be the ones publishing it for you on the Fisker Audi site and mobile apps. So download those if you don't have them. What's our next question, Jim? We got another question?
Yep. I've got them all lined up here. So we've got...
Thank you.
Prakash. He says when he had a Nissan Leaf, he was able to use their charger with the 50 amp 240 volt outlet he installed in his garage himself without any additional charging equipment. Can you do the same with the Ocean One? Yes. I don't know that they are going to provide a charger with the car. A lot of the manufacturers are not doing that now, so I'm not positive on that, but you would be able to purchase one and with a J1772 end on it and be able to plug the Ocean. You just plug it right into your 50 amp or your 240 outlet and charge car from there. And if you're on a 50 amp, that means you're going to be pulling 42 amps max. So you're probably going to charge at about 35 miles per hour. So that'll be pretty good. I mean, that'll easily charge you up overnight.
Excellent.
Okay, this is a good one for you.
I love that one though. You asked you read the question and you gave the answer. That was
that one I'm pretty confident on. This one you might be able to answer. I mean, I know what I think the answer is, but I'll let you answer this one. But it says, hi, Jim, I ordered the Ultra Trim 2, and I was wondering if we see the price for all the upgraded features, and if we feel that they're too much, will Fisker allow us to upgrade to the Extreme trim at that time?
So what I've seen Fisker say in Instagram yesterday or the day before, somebody asked him around, once you've placed a pre-order, will you be able to change your pre-order from, say, an Ultra to an Extreme or a Sport to an Ultra? And he gave a thumbs up. That's really all we know. I'd love to give you more information, but yeah. Thumbs up is what Henrik said to that specific question on Instagram. You might want to, message the rag giver or shoot an email to support@fiskerinc.com and get a definitive answer from them. I haven't ever, thought of that one. That might be a good article to write about. And maybe we can reach out to the company to get their guidance on that and write an article. So maybe, you feel free to reach out to the company. Let us know what they say from you, someone who's already pre-ordered. Forward us your email. We'll also contact the company and we'll compare notes and we'll publish an article about it. So that's an article we'll write up on the blurred whiteboard over there. I got to start using that whiteboard. I installed that whiteboard I don't know how many years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And my daughter draws on it and uses it more than I do. So I got to start getting back into the habit of using that thing. I do see, go for it. You got another question?
Well, I was just going to comment on, I'm wondering though, with everybody locking these trims in and them saying that they're sold out of these trims or sold out of this trim, I don't know that we will be able to. Yeah,
you might be able to change, right? You might be able to upgrade, but you might have to wait longer. That's the problem, right? That's the guidance that we need. It's going to happen probably, just you thinking about it logically, you would have to have somebody cancel a pre-order in order for there to be a spot open, and maybe you go to a wait list. Maybe each trim has a wait list. Who knows, right? We got to reach out to the company to find out what they're going to do, if they even know what they're going to do yet. As soon as they know, I'm sure they'll let us know and we can write an article about it. So we'll go ahead and follow up on that once the person that asked that question sends us their response from support@fiskerinc.com. That's going to be the kick in the butt that I need in order to write the article.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve and Rosanna, for helping with the roof question that someone asked. They asked about the Ultra having retractable roof, so they covered that question for us. Thank you, guys. Uh, no, as far as we know, it does not have a frunk. We've never seen it open, uh, so I don't believe there's a frunk.
Yeah, we have seen a photo of it open. It was somebody on the Magna line doing
Oh,
some mechanical work. It looked like, and we've seen a front without any. I think we've seen a couple pictures
right.
without any body in the front. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of hardware there that operates the car that we wouldn't have access. I think we have a photo on the site that actually shows like the chassis and all the batteries and the motors and all that, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of room up front for anything. And I think what Fisker did is try to push a lot of the stuff that's important to make the car operate and run, and provide us the performance that we want in the front of the vehicle, under the rear of the vehicle, so that there's more room in the interior, make it feel more spacious. From what I've heard, and there's a couple people in the chat that have actually gotten up and close and personal with the vehicle much more than myself. That I've heard people describe it as this is going to be a bad comparison probably, but these are the two cars that come off the top of my head. It's like the size of a BMW X1 with the interior the size of a BMW X3. Probably a bad way to describe it. So someone can probably describe it better. That's been up inside the interior over at the Santa Barbara Earth Day, celebration. So that's that. What other questions do you have?
We got Steve and Rosanna want to know about your picture on the Fiskerati site of the one that Henrik Fisker is behind the wheel of.
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know what picture they're talking about, but let me head over to the site and take a look. It might be the one that was just published, maybe today. Henrik Fisker with a message to short sellers. Maybe that one. That would be another prototype, a pre-production vehicle that was shared. I think that specific photo was shared on Twitter by the Fisker Inc. account. I don't know if that's the one they're talking about, but that I thought that was a cool photo of him that you haven't seen before. So I thought, you know what, that's a good message to short sellers. Like, hey, they're going to be on time with the start of production, and look, I'm sitting behind the wheel of a Fisker Ocean. So I thought that was actually kind of fun. I don't know if they're talking about that, but that's that's what Steve says. Yes.
Okay. Sean, this is coming from Stuart Rosenberg. Sean, do you
like a member too, right? A club member.
Oh.
I see the little badge. So the people that have the green name and the little badge, I just hopped over to YouTube, are club members. So he's got the, hey, I've been a member for 1 month badge. I'm in my first month badge. As you keep staying with staying with us, we keep upgrading your badges. So that's kind of a fun thing that we do. You start off with like a bronze badge, you get a silver, you get a gold, and then you get like the purple heart. And then we'll keep making more. So if you're with us for 4 months, you get the purple heart. And then if you stick around with us more, we can start adding. YouTube lets us add more and more badges, more and more icons. And that's one thing we haven't done. Maybe you guys don't know about this. I haven't seen any come through. If you have a Fiskerati club membership, if you go to your emojis, I'm going to do one right now. I can do the thumbs up. I'm actually just tap them all right now, and you can see what all of them are. Boom, there you go. There are all the emojis that we offer right now. As we get more club members, and we just got a club member as we speak, Kevin McKinnon, welcome to the club. You get access to emojis. Those emojis are only offered on YouTube. They are only available when we do these chats or if you write comments on the videos that we have. So I had all of those custom made. So those are unique to us. No one else has those. Those are ours. And in addition to those badges, they have an F on them, each of those badges. You can say it means Fiskerati. You can say it means Fisker. You can say it means whatever you want it to mean that begins with the letter F. But that's what they are. If you didn't know, there's a little F on it. And that was for the Fiskerati Club membership. So the club, you can join that by going to our Fisker, the Fiskerati channel. and click on join. You can see we have 4 membership plans. Go ahead and knock yourself out there. If you don't want to purchase a subscription on YouTube, you can go to our website, or you can go to fiskerati.com/club, and I'll go ahead and put a link in there now for you, and you can sign up using PayPal. The only problem with that is you would want to get a membership that's is higher than, you want to get Ultra or higher. So we have 4 plans, Sport, Ultra, Extreme, and the One. Not very original, but that's what they are for the time being until we can think of something better. But if you want to be a part of the chat experience, join on YouTube. If you don't care about the chat experience, join elsewhere on our site. And if you get an Ultra membership or above to the club, we'll add you to the Fiskerati Forums Club membership forum. So there's the club forum. That's where we post exclusive content. And it'll become better and better as time goes on. We're just starting. But I actually asked some pretty interesting questions in there that'll be used for upcoming articles. If you get a specific membership, I don't want to talk about the membership this whole time, you can read about it. But if you have an Extreme membership or the One membership, you can actually come on here with Jim and I on these Wednesdays for a guest segment, or if Jim's out for the day, you can be the guest host. So we have the ability for you to interact with us and be the news. We can talk about your experience. So that's kind of fun. If you're in the One plan, you can actually publish articles. Granted, you have to be reviewed by me before we hit the publish button, but you can write guest articles. We'll publish them. And for the people who have already published articles, you're a club member. So you got the club before everybody. So, I want to thank the people who had already published an article, who purchased a club membership. Thank you for your support as well. So if you're a club member and if you've already published an article on Fiskerati, set up your Fiskerati Forums account, shoot me an email, and you will have a club membership. So I wanted to get that out there. Enough talking about that. Back to the questions.
Okay. So Stuart Rosenberg, he says, Sean, do you think most of us on the West Coast will get the One quarter 1 of 2023, and those that ordered and Extreme in quarter 3 or quarter 4 of 2023?
Got it. So when will we get our Fisker Ocean Ones? That is a good question. We don't have a definitive answer, other than on, and I believe it was the earnings call. I think it was Gita who said that we're not going to, basically said Fisker is not going to recognize a lot of the revenue in 2022. I think I read it on there, or a press release, that it was going to be the first quarter or first half, for sure the first half of 2023. Q1, yeah, I believe, this is a personal opinion, I believe we're going to see some deliveries here on the West Coast. We may even get surprised and see them earlier. It just all depends on what the company's strategy is around creating buzz, when the boots are on the ground. In this case, the wheels are on the ground. So we'll have to wait, sit back, and kind of see what happens. I'll be sure to let as soon as I find out, I'll let you know in the Fiskerati forums and the club forum specifically, and then I'll write an article about it and let everyone else know as well. So that's kind of fun. As far as like the Extreme goes, we've published on our website with various screenshots that we found throughout the ordering workflow of the pre-ordering when Fisker was going to start production and deliveries of the other trims. So go to the website for that. You can search deliveries and you'll find the article for that. You can also search like specific, like Ocean One or Ocean Extreme, Ocean Ultra, Ultra Sport, and you'll only get the articles that mention those as well. So take advantage of the search. The search is really good on the web, if you're on the mobile web or you're on the desktop web, super good. I'm trying to figure out, we've enabled search on our mobile app. The results show up in a slightly different order. Can't figure it out yet. Still working on that, but we got search on the mobile apps. It works. It pulls up stuff, but the relevance score is different, and I got to figure out how to change that for the mobile app specifically. So hopefully that somewhat answers your question, Stuart. And what do we have? We have any other ones?
Yeah. David Denagi. asked about a portable battery for the Fisker Extreme for emergencies. Um, I have not heard anything about that. I actually have not heard of any manufacturer providing like a portable emergency battery. And the only one that I have actually seen, I think it was Ben Solon's had one on his channel, and he charged his Tesla up after he ran out. He actually charged it up, but it was like charging at about maybe 10 miles per hour. So he had to sit there a while to get enough charge to be able to get to a charger. But that box was like $5,000, $5,000 or $6,000 for that thing. So I really doubt that anybody's going to just throw one in. Any manufacturer is going to throw one in. So it's possible that they may put one up there for possible purchase that you might be able to finance. But I doubt it. We've got. Yeah, okay, so I ordered the Extreme. Had second thoughts. Reached out to support. They said I could not switch my trims without losing my deposit.
Interesting.
So that kind of answers our question from earlier.
That doesn't sound exciting to write an article about. I'm just kidding. I can think of more entertaining things for me to write about, but maybe we'll write one about that.
Somebody wants to talk about the ADAS.
Yeah, we were supposed to get some stuff about that. We were supposed to get some videos, some behind-the-scenes footage of that from Fisker. They teased about that, and that was last month, if I recall. But when the 3 vehicles arrived, and we were like, "Whoa!" It took 3 weeks from when they said they were going to, send vehicles and when they were delivered, and we haven't heard a word since that. So maybe we'll get something from that soon. And they did mention, I think it was on the earnings call. I can't remember who said it, but they said that the vehicles were actually in was it Detroit or was it just Michigan in general? I can't remember, but it was somewhere in the Midwest.
I think Detroit.
And they were, okay, could have been Detroit with Magna. It was somewhere where Magna was,
yeah.
And they were doing the ADAS testing. So that would be our 5 pilot. That would be, leveraging all the sensors around the vehicle, the cameras, et cetera. And I'm looking forward to that. Having seen the one screenshot of the 17.1 inch display where you can see the vehicle at the top, and then you can kind of see it trying to detect the other vehicles around it. So I wonder if that's going to end up being, one of the, what the final, a kind of, just a preview, a sneak peek of what the, the final UI will look like for that. But it looked pretty nice.
Right.
Do you know anything about the ADAS testing?
They were actually just asking. They said they're a little confused of how it actually functions differently than typical analog radars, and asked if we, had any insights or on it. The one thing that I do know that they talked about, that it was more of a 3-dimensional view that it sees, and it can see a lot farther than the typical analog radars. So and it's supposed to be able to see like different forms and different sizes of things than normal analog ones may just see. If you've got 2 semis like going down the interstate and you got a motorcycle in between, it may recognize those 2 semis because they're so big, but it may not notice that motorcycle that's in front, and it may keep accelerating instead of slowing down behind that motorcycle. So this would be able to see those 2 semi-trucks and the motorcycle in between, and somebody riding their bike on the side of the road. And it says they can see up to 300 meters away, I think it said, or something like that.
Yeah, and I just posted a link in the chat, and it basically talks exactly what Jim was just describing. It's a 4 minute 15-second video put out by Fisker in February 28th, 2022, and it basically has a person walking down the street. It has a Fisker Ocean driving by, and it shows kind of the car recognizes the pedestrian. It shows kind of like a bounding box around that individual. and it detects, what low-lying objects. So it shows an example of a tire in the road. It detects a lot of stuff to help keep you, the driver, and your passengers safe. When I worked at Amazon, I worked on a product called Amazon Recognition, which was a computer vision, artificial intelligence service, and it did a lot of computer vision where around detecting objects, and we could detect there's a tire, there's a person, there's a sign, there's a semi truck, whatever it may be. It was trained by artificial intelligence, humans, and it was deployed by many different companies, which I'm not going to talk about. But it's actually pretty cool technology, and I don't know what Magna uses or the startup that actually develops the technology that Fisker is going to be leveraging. So Magna and Texas startup, can't think of their name off the top of my head, but they partnered up. Fisker is going to be leveraging some of that. Maybe they're going to be doing some of their own development as well. But Magna is invested heavily in ADAS, digital radar, and this Icon radar that's going to be a part of the Fisker Ocean. And Fisker Ocean is going to be the very first vehicle in production with a digital radar. And that's something that they've told us time and time again. So that's pretty exciting. And we'll have to wait and do our own tests. We'll throw something in the road and see if the car can detect it. Who knows? We'll do some fun tests with it when we get our Fisker Ocean.
Yeah. So I want to get this one real quick because it seemed like it was something important that I didn't want this person to mess something up. So they said, so if I agree to losing the $250 deposit and pay the new $250 for the upgraded Extreme trim, will they let them do that? Now the problem with that is if you've already agreed and locked yourself into a trim, if you pull out of that, I don't think you'll be able to go back in because aren't the Extremes sold out in the US now?
Well, we don't know if they're sold out, the Extreme. What we know is that they've closed pre-orders. I haven't seen any update about anything being sold out for the Extreme yet, but we don't know if and when. We don't know when. We don't know if and when the Extreme will actually reopen for pre-orders here in the United States. We don't know how many are left. We'll have to wait to see what Fisker says there. But if there are some openings for that, if they need to, try to further sell them out, I'm sure they will open them up and we'll hear about it. Maybe they'll do it, when they do the rest of the world. But something tells me they're gonna focus just on the rest of the world on the 18th, according to their FAQ, November 18th, the day after start of production. And someone had a question. I just saw this one pop through. I'm at the bottom of the chat. You're probably way up ahead of me. But somebody asked, can they make a one-time donation for the Fiskerati Club? And yes, you can. Just go to fiskerati.com/club. Somewhere on that page, there's a link to our PayPal account. You can make a one-time donation, and I'll send you a thank you email when you do. So. Yeah, you don't have to be a member. You can do a one-time donation, or you don't have to do anything. You can just be a part of the show, and that's fine. It's like KPBS, right? Some people watch for free, other people are sponsors. So hey, you do what works for you, and that's totally fine for us.
Yeah, definitely. Experience center deployment. You talked about this previously, didn't you? And you just had an article go up about it also.
Experience centers, where they're going to be.
Yeah, it just says experience center deployment with a question mark. So I'm guessing.
So where they're going to open up, possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah, so we did do an article about this yesterday or the day before. It says the 15th, so that would have been 2 days ago. We did an article that looked a little something like this here, and this is the top 10 Fisker Lounge locations. This is where Fisker actually listed all the different locations in their original investor presentation from the July of 2020 when they announced they were going to go public with the Spartan Energy acquisition SPAC. And we ended up rolling through that, and we ended up creating, here's the top 10 locations. And then number one, Los Angeles, number two, New York City or New York, number three, Houston, Texas. And I put a picture of each one of them there, Miami, Florida, Seattle, Washington, San Francisco, California, Chicago, Illinois. So Jim, you're in luck. Phoenix, Arizona, Atlanta, Georgia, and lastly, Denver, Colorado. So those are where Fisker originally said they're going to put them. Some of those we haven't heard of since this original investor deck. So I wanted to resurface this information. Maybe it'll spark something at Fisker. Maybe they'll be like, hey, maybe we should tell people where we're going to open up our experience centers, because people really want to experience the Fisker Ocean. We learned that at the Fisker Lounges, which is what the Experience Center is called, the new one's going to end up having going to be 2 floors. And I think it was Tommaso that was talking about it in the Fiskerati forum. He thought, there's going to be AR and VR. And I looked closer at the investor deck and on the same page that this was listed, and basically, paraphrased what they put here in this, what is a Fisker Lounge? And I'll go ahead and read it. It's actually kind of interesting. It says, Fisker Lounges will offer an immersive brand experience. Firstly, the customer journey throughout Fisker Lounges will use storytelling around sustainability, technology, and a new model for EV ownership. That will be your Fisker Flexi lease. Secondly, Fisker will offer virtual factory tours of Magna. That's pretty cool. Using AR, augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality experiences. Thirdly, the company will use Fisker Lounges for test drives and a place for customers to interact with vehicle materials to learn the story behind them. Fourthly, Fisker plans to create a family-friendly environment with zoned spaces. Fisker Lounges will offer complete EV visualization, specifications, and in-store ordering. Lastly, Fisker brand specialists, that might be our rag givers, will be there for you to start your concierge relationship as you embark on your EV ownership journey. So I thought, that actually was quite interesting. I'm surprised I never caught on to that. So I thought, I'm gonna share that information in that article, because I thought that was interesting. It talked about AR and VR, and I think Tommaso, if he's still on here, he actually talked about that in Fiskerati forums the other day. So he's one step ahead of me all the time, which is great. It's always I do my best, but there's always people out there that know a heck of a lot more than I do.
Well, you're only one person, so
yeah. So Tommaso, when you're ready to start writing articles, you got a seat here at the table. So what other questions do we have? Do we have any others, or is that it?
We are pretty well caught up. The last one that I've seen right now is somebody asking if the matte finish is difficult to take care of, and yes, you can Google it and check on it. It's not like it's extremely hard to take care of as much as it is a different way that you've ever done it before. It's not, you can't use standard products on it. You have to use special matte finishing products on it. So, and from what I'm hearing is it's easy to leave scratches and swirl marks, and that are seen a lot easier than in gloss paint, because with your gloss you have light reflection and it kind of hides that with glare and stuff. But with matte, it's just there, so you can pretty much see everything. That's why I kind of steered away from it. If somebody is interested in matte finish, what you could do is you can actually get a paint protective film put on that they call Stealth, and the Stealth actually puts a matte protective film over the top of it, and so you get a satiny look from the gloss. So you get matte protective film over the top of gloss, and you get a satin finish. And there, you're not going to have any problems, because it's just basically a wrap and a cover. So you just treat it just like you would any other paint. You just don't have to really worry about it. Run it through car wash, whatever you want to do, however you want to treat it. But that is an option to go with. But if you get to do the whole car, you're going to be probably, depending on where you go and where you live, anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000 for the whole car. So
that's crazy. So Matt ended up talking about that. I think it was Matt who talked to me offline about that. He was on the show last night, and he talked about with me previously about doing some sort of a coating, a wrap around, like a clear wrap around his vehicle. And I think he wanted to write an article about that at some point, or do a video. So he might have one of those coming out. I think he may have done it to a previous car. We'll have to confirm that, but he swore by it, and it sounds interesting. So yeah, if you have a matte finish, that definitely extra protection for you. That sounds good. I don't know who does that here where I live, but I'm sure I could. There's a lot of people that
here in
wrap cars.
California. There's probably one on every block.
That's funny.
I've got a company that I use now, and I actually had a video where we wrapped the top of our ID4.
Okay.
And so I got a company that I use now. They were great. They did a great job. So they're well, I doubt any of them are listening, but if they are, Vita Bottega. That's the name of the company, and if you're anywhere in around Central Illinois, it's Vita Bottega in Champaign, Illinois. Do great work. Awesome.
Excellent. Always nice to give local businesses a shout out, huh? Last night I gave a local business in Palm Springs a shout out. I said they had good ribs, and I stick by that one. Amazing ribs. That'd be Babes for those that didn't watch last night. If you ever in Palm Springs and you need a meal. And you need a charger, there's a charging station. It happens to be a Tesla supercharging station, but they do have good ribs. Not far from that place, there's also Electrify America for the people that get the Fisker Ocean. So we'll still be going to Babes while the car charges, or some other restaurant. But yeah, that's a good place. It's actually, you know what? I'm actually going to talk about that one more time. You know who actually started it? I actually didn't mention this last night since I brought it up. Don Callender. Does that name ring a bell to you? Probably not, but this will ring a bell, hopefully. Marie Callender's. Do you know Marie Callender's?
Yeah.
That's who started Babes. There's only one of them. It's in Palm Springs, and Babes was started by the founder of Marie Callender's. So, but it's different quality. It's barbecue. It's ribs and meat and cornbread, and it's all delicious. But yeah, that's who started it. That's actually kind of a neat thing. And he's passed away, and they have a memorial for him when you walk in, and it's really, really cool. Really cool experience. But enough about food. Do we have any other questions here? What else do we got? Difficult to take.
Kevin asked if you think the configuration will open earlier than they said.
So the configuration, the next gen 3D configurator, we've been told October. We haven't been. I think the closest we've got to a date would be mid-October. I think Hendrik said that. I forgot what channel he said it on. I want to say Instagram. Could have been LinkedIn. But mid-October, that's the date that I'm mentally expecting it, somewhere around then. If we get it before then, great. If we don't, mid-October. We heard on the earnings call Hendrik Fisker talk about test drives for journalists. He said he didn't, he'd like them to be earlier, but those are going to end up being, beginning of November. So a little further out than we would have hoped, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's how building a product is. I've built lots of products in my time as a product manager, and you plan, you do everything you can, and sometimes things slip the date. But one thing what we've been reassured time and time again is SOP November 17th. We're on target. Company's doing it. They're gonna do it. And we saw that short seller message today. Hey short sellers. Hey shorties. November 17th. We're on track for that date. So they're definitely not slipping on that date. And we talked about last night, Jim. We talked about how Fisker can do over-the-air updates, much like Tesla is able to do. So if something isn't quite right, or if something needs to be tweaked or improved upon, Fisker has that luxury with their EV connected cars, if you will, in order to push an update. And as a Tesla owner, we get one maybe every 2 weeks, I would say. We're on like the experimental ones, and if we get them, we get them. If we don't, we don't. But usually there's one like every 2 weeks, and they give you like a little update on what each feature does, and I would imagine Fisker's probably going to do the same thing. With your ID4, do you guys do you get software updates over the air, or is it like whatever you have?
You had to go there, didn't you? You had to go.
I didn't know. I thought I'd ask. I don't want people to think I'm only talking about Tesla.
So yeah, when we originally bought the car, we were told and that we would have over-the-air updates every 12 weeks. That's what they've told us.
Okay.
Um, so we've had our car since December, and we haven't got an update yet. And then we
Wow.
find out. So I have a couple videos on this, but we find out that this great update's coming, and all these features. And I did a whole video on all the features and everything. And then about a week later, then we find out, oh, well, no, you have to take it to a dealer, and they have to install a new 12-volt battery. They have to replace a module and then do a software upgrade at there that's going to take an entire day to do to get it to this 2.4 software that then would make it able to get
Hmm.
over the air software. So, and they started doing it in Europe, and the first one that they tried to do actually like crashed the whole software thing. They had to reload everything into it because it like crashed it. So then they had to start all over again. And yeah, so no, we haven't gotten an update yet, and we don't know when we're going to get one. Last we heard was a couple more months here in the U.S., but we don't know. I'm just hoping we get to experience a little bit of an upgrade before we have to trade it in for the Fisker Ocean. But if not, oh well. It's
Oh
nothing wrong
well.
with the car. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just some little tweaks that they are planning on doing. It's bigger for the newer ones, the 2022s and 2023s. That software is going to be great. It'll like the car will park itself. It'll do a whole bunch of other stuff. But the 21, like mine, doesn't have all the sensors that the newer ones have. So the only benefit that I'm getting is a little bit of speed and charging, and little better battery and heating management.
Got
That's
it.
all we're going to really get. But thanks for making
Yeah.
me go
Well,
on a
that's good.
rant.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. It's good to talk about that stuff. Um, cool.
But yes, one thing I also was going to tell everybody was,
Yeah.
when we do get the Fisker Ocean and we have the ability to update over the air, the best thing to do is that what they watch social media. They watch social media to see what problems are happening and little things that they're having issues with, and then that's how they learn what they need to fix. They do pull in some information from the cars through that same over the air type of thing, but that's just car information. It's not stuff that you are dealing with yourself. So make sure that you are talking to people and letting that information get out, even if it's sending Sean a message in the forum saying, "Hey, I'm having a problem with this, this, and this," and that's the type of stuff that he can put on his channel. He can relay stuff to me, and we can do I can do a broader video of information. So that's stuff we just want to keep in mind. Is
It's the
get
qualitative data that we need. Yeah, the qualitative data, what's working, what's not working. We can be
yeah,
the sounding board for the company to say, hey, we have a bunch of members, we have a bunch of listeners, readers. They're having problems with X, Y, and Z. Take a
right,
look at this. And that's one thing we're going to do with the club. Hopefully, in 2023. We're going to end up keep going strong with the club, and I have the aspiration of turning it into like a worldwide Fisker Ocean Car Club. So that's we got the member management installed. We got we got member management. We have the forum that's private just for members, and we've got the channel now going here on YouTube. So we have an outlet to actually talk and communicate, stream events, things like that. So each day, building closer to it. We need cars on the road in order to actually have a club. Kind of funky to have a
right,
car club with no cars on the road. So we're starting the club. It'll morph. It'll transform. We'll figure out how we add in the car component to it. I envision I think I talked about it in the forum, like something like Good Guys. I don't know if you're familiar with Good Guys. They come out here to San Diego, I think once a year, and maybe twice, but for sure once a year. And you see hot rods rolling around town, and there's a car show. There's like a racetrack. Now they have. Last night I looked on their website. It was like I want to say over 100,000 members. It's like massive. And you know, I as ambitious as I am, and you know, I'd love to have a car club with, you know, thousands of members. You got to start somewhere, right? You know, hundreds, then thousands, maybe
Yeah.
10,000. That, you know, who knows? But let's see what we can all do together in 2023. That will be a fun goal and something to build.
Well, I could see your first one in California will probably have about 500 people at it, and in Illinois, we'll have one over here in Illinois, and we'll have like 5 of us get together.
Yeah, you'll have to come out here, like the fully charged, right? You'll have to come out here and
Yeah.
be a part of the car show. But Southern California is definitely a good place to have some sort of a meetup. We could obviously do virtual ones. I'm a big runner. They do virtual runs. I've never done a virtual run. They always try to
I'm not
upsell you on a
running
virtual
anywhere.
run. But they try to have you do virtual runs instead of going to a physical location, and I haven't really been able to get into that. When I do like a marathon, I want to be a part of the actual experience. So who knows if virtual car events will be a thing? But I do know that I used to do a lot of meetups on meetup.com, and that was a place to meet other local people to talk about a specific subject. But that's what I'm hoping we can use the Fiskerati forums for, is you know, break out, have specific a forum for a car club at different locations and so forth, and try to make it very, you know, micro focused. So more to come, lots of planning, lots of extra work to do. And I just have to find the time to do it. So I'm pushing that one to 2023. Let's focus on the news, our oceans, getting our ocean, you know, on the road. And Jim and I are going to be super busy, you know, detailing photos and videos of our ocean. You know, hopefully we're one of the first. Who knows if we'll be one of the first, but hopefully we're close to the beginning. Where we'll be able to break some of this, you know, features and news for everybody on this show, on the Fiskerati site or the apps. So more to come, lots of excitement, and we'll kind of see where it goes. Now, I've been on here with you, Jim, for almost 2 hours. We wanted to do this for an hour. My family, you may have seen them in the back. They ended up leaving. They walked out the door. I think they went on a walk to the beach, or I don't know what they're doing, but I'm going to get an earful later tonight.
I'm sure they know that you weren't going to be able to do it in an hour.
Oh man.
Yeah, I can't even do it in an hour.
Yeah,
I mean,
too much.
I think I was that show Sunday. We had a little bit of an issue with some audio with my guests, so. When they left, then I went ahead and just started the show over again and just went through my stuff, answered some questions, and I still went for 45 minutes by myself.
Wow. We're talkers, aren't we? We talk too much. Yeah, that's kind of fun. It's just fun. It's like we're at a restaurant, we're eating, or we're at a bar and we're talking, and we're giving some news as we go, and we're having fun. And hopefully the people, there's 83 people here. I don't know if they've been here at the beginning, but there's 83 people here. You know, thank you. We have 53 likes. If you haven't liked the video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to our channel by this point, what the heck are you doing? You've been on this long. Subscribe to our channel. We want to see our channel numbers go up because it's fun to see, you know, the feedback. Hey, we're doing a good job. People keep subscribing to our channel. So that's kind of the fun bit of this. At least I have fun. Like I love, you know, being able to interact with people in the comments. Like that's so cool to be able to talk to people in the comments about the videos we're posting. So yeah, that's all I got for tonight. Do you have anything else? Does anyone else have any questions, or are we going to call it? I think we're done. I don't
see any more questions. While there's 83 people in here, and I know not everybody is interacting here, but I have thought about covering something else on my channel, because if anybody has looked at my channel, I've got like almost 30 videos on the ID4, and I'm just about done with what I can do with the ID4. So I wanted to have Sean throw this picture up and see if you guys would be interested in me covering that, or if anybody would be interested in watching videos and learning more information about it. Let's see if I can get over here to it.
Do you want me to go to their website?
I'm going to pull it. I'm going to send it to you. I think this
I got their website up. You want me to just throw it up?
There it is.
All right, there we go. This company is actually from San Diego, I believe. We've seen these things everywhere.
So this is the Aptera, and they are going to be starting production in 2023. They're taking reservations right now, and this little vehicle, I'm just going to go a few small things real quick. It'll go 250 miles, and that's on the bottom battery, and that's for $25,000. It goes up to about $30,000 for a 400-mile range battery. It goes to right around 35,000 to between 35 and 38,000 for a 600-mile battery, and about 45,000, I believe. I'm not positive on the numbers, but I think it's right around 45,000 for a 1,000-mile battery. And it also has solar built into the top of the hood, the dash, the tail part of it, and the top of the car that will pull in 40 miles of range per day while it's sitting outside. So essentially, depending on the size of the battery, you may not have to charge it for a very long time. So this is just something I was looking at, checking it out, and maybe see if I can get some more information and starting to make some more videos about that. So if you're interested in it, just pop in the chat real quick and just say, yeah, I'd like to see more information on that, and I will start working on it.
Like the only thing I like about this is that the video is actually here in San Diego. So it's lots of San Diego footage right there, rolling down one of the streets in San Diego towards the beach. There's San Diego Beach. Love it. Love the footage. There's the Torrey Pines Bridge I was telling you about earlier, Jim. So that's where I don't live far from right there. This is my neck of the woods here. There's Torrey Pines right there. That looks like it could be the glider port. So yeah, this is my neck of the woods. That's the beach where my family's probably walking right now, wondering why the heck is he still on that live stream.
Yes, it does look a little odd. It looks kind of like an airplane without wings, but it is. They say it's really spacious on the inside. Oddly, it looks like it'd be small, but it's actually pretty good, pretty decent size. And they have a clip that I saw where they actually put a surfboard in the back. The back part lifts up, and then that's how you get into your cargo area. And they put a surfboard in there. Now, I'm sure the passenger seat was probably pushed forward or something, but it had a decent amount of room in the back. The bad thing is it is only a two-seater, so it's not really a family vehicle. And I would not drive it in the winter, in the snow anyway. So it'd be kind of like a motorcycle. You would buy it, and then it would sit in the garage for maybe a few months of the year, depending on where you live. And it does register as a motorcycle. So
very cool. So hopefully you get some interest there in the chat for that one. So you can go over to Jim's channel, youtube.com/OSR Garage. Maybe he'll post a video on that, see how the video does, get people's feedback, and go from there. That'd be kind of fun. So we're trying to bring you guys a bunch of new stuff. That's something new. As you know, we're kind of diehard Fisker fans, or at least I am. Jim is too, I think. Maybe I'm rubbing off on him. Who knows? But
no, I think the Fisker Ocean is going to be great. I love the looks of it. My wife likes the looks of it. We like the range that it offers. It's going to be an excellent, great car, and it'll probably be. This is not going to be another EV that we're stepping to something else. This is probably going to be our family EV, and we'll be done with shopping around.
So one last thing, I forgot to mention this earlier. We should have mentioned this before the Q&A because we've already had a few people drop off there. It says there's 70 people watching right now. If you live in the Bay Area or you're not far from Monterey, don't forget tomorrow is the Fisker Ocean is going to be at that Pebble Beach car show. I think this is the week. Yeah. It's either this week, the car show kicks off, the Monterey Car Week. I think it kicks off this week. But nevertheless, Fisker's going to be there from the 18th to the 21st. They say it's free to get in. So you can go there. You can hop over to their stand, check out the Fisker Ocean. They said they're inviting everybody, including the press and whatnot. I'd love to go up there, but that's a little bit far of a drive for us. and we already had plans, so not making that one. But I will definitely see the Fisker Ocean over at Fully Charged, unless there's some major catastrophe or something. But that's what we're planning. But yeah, Pebble Beach, check that one out for tomorrow for the people that live up. Do we have anybody on the stream still that lives up in the Bay Area by Pebble Beach? Anybody? If you do, send us photos and videos.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be really cool. I'd be happy to post an article about that. Those are like the easiest articles to write. Are like, hey, here's some cool photos that our readers and now our watchers, now that we have a YouTube channel, have sent us. So that's always fun to see other people's images and videos. So check that out. I wonder how far that is from Costa Mesa. So Costa Mesa, if you're talking about Pebble Beach, that's quite far. Pebble Beach is up, I would say, by San Francisco, Monterey Aquarium. That area, it's quite far. I would say a good 8-hour drive. Costa Mesa is about 45 minutes north of me, and I'm in San Diego, and it's about an 8-hour drive up to San Francisco without traffic. So it's quite a far drive. And the furthest we've taken our electric vehicle, our Tesla, is to Palm Springs. That's the furthest we've taken it. And we're planning to do a road trip to Walt Disney World in November. And we're going to fly. And I thought, no, you know what? This is an opportunity to take the electric car. So if we're able to take a Fisker Ocean, we would do that in a heartbeat. I doubt Fisker wants their electric vehicle sitting at Disney World for a few days. We're also doing a cruise as well there. So it's going to be a cruise and a Disney. It's going to be like a two-week thing. So that's going to be fun to kind of journal that and you stop from charging station to charging station. But maybe we could do a coast to coast. Maybe Fisker wants to, help sponsor us. We'll take a prototype and we'll go, from San Diego or Southern California, from their offices in Manhattan Beach, all the way, east to the Orlando area and to Port Canaveral and show off, what the thing can do. So hint, we'll throw that out there if anyone from Fisker is watching. But I'd love to do a road trip in an electric car and kind of see what that's all about, that experience.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
So that's it. I think that's it, man.
I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah, we did 2 hours. We're at 2 hours right now. Hour and 56 minutes. Hey, why not? We got 63 people on. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We'll try to do this again next week. Who knows what our schedules are like, but we'll try to make time to do that. Stay tuned for more photos and videos that we find. Videos, I mean YouTube videos that we're going to make this week. And Jim, do you have, real quick before we go, do you have a video that's coming out next week for the, do we have any more Heads Up series stuff or no? Are we done with that?
Stuff right now, no.
Maybe the Blazer, maybe not the Blazer.
Possibly. I mean, that is going to probably be the next thing, but they've got to come out with some more information. We really don't have enough. Yeah. I don't have anything for measurements or, cargo area and the numbers.
Would be a good review.
They've only given numbers for their SS top trim. There's just not really enough information there to put a video together.
We'll put a pin on the head-to-head series for now. Maybe Jim and I can come up with some other EV thing, Fisker thing that we can do a weekly or every 2 weeks video on. That's something I am still planning on doing, Fisker content. It may not be head to head, but I am going to start bringing some more stuff out about the Fisker. Probably scanning through your site and trying to find pull some stuff together. But yeah, I am going to still make Fisker videos, as much information as I can get and get it out to everyone. And we'll keep writing the articles for them. So keep it going. Keep it going. All right, everybody. Let's see. We will be at Pebble Beach tomorrow a.m. Currently spending the night in Santa Cruz. Very nice.
Awesome.
Ghosts. I think, what are they? The slugs, sea slugs, something like that. Cool. We'll take pictures. Cool. So hopefully you have my email address. If you don't, just use the contact at fiskerati.com, and we will post those tomorrow. Send at least 3 if you can. I hate to ask for a number, but 3 looks always better in an article than 1. People are like, why did you only have one photo? But we have 3 photos. If you have more than 3, oh, even better. But yeah, that's super cool. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I want to say that's Rick Morales, but I might be wrong, but thank you very much. Thumbs up to you as well. And thank you everybody for joining us. I want to do one last look. I lost the chat on my screen here, but yeah, I think I lost the chat. So don't know where the chat is, but thank you all for joining us, and we will talk to you soon. So this is the end of the Fiskerati Live, and tonight, if you're starting at the back of the video, we covered the latest on the Inflation Reduction Act, the Fisker Ocean latest updates, and we talked about some photos, and lastly, Pebble Beach, which is tomorrow in the next few days. So take care, everybody.